We're at a different point now. Our standards have went up. Our efficiency has went up. The floor you once had is no longer there. You got a new floor, which means you got new rules. But it just means that you raise your standards. What you expected from yourself from the beginning is not what you expect from yourself now. Now you expect more. The more is now your baseline, which is always a good thing because that means you've improved. But now that you've improved, you gotta stay consistent and maintain it. So things that worked for you before, and you're just starting to get you to where you need to be now, whatever you've done to get to the point to where you're performing at a high level now, that is now what you do on a daily. Not what you did to try to survive and make it, but what you did once you made it. That's your new floor. For example, when you first start working somewhere, you're just learning everything. So your baseline is lower. You're trying to learn, you're trying to get better, you're trying to improve, you're trying to get to a point to where you can be sufficient and valuable. So you're doing all the things that you need to do that. Once you've gotten to the point to where you're past the beginning and you're past surviving, and now you're trying to maintain a level of excellence, that is now your new floor. You no longer are fighting for survival at that point. You're maintaining excellence so you can be that go-to person, that go-to man or go-to woman. You're no longer hoping that you can just make it by will and, luck. You understand everything now. You know how things work. You know how things move. So now that you've gotten to that point, you are now rolling at a higher frequency. For myself, especially for this new job, I was just learning everything and trying to survive, you know? I was just trying to survive, learn as much as I can, and just try to be valuable in any way that I can. Understand the dynamics, understand the work dynamics, and find my place, so to speak. But now I'm 7 months in, and I've done some processes and learned some things that work and done some things that work that now, after doing them, I've become good and proficient at. So the same mistakes that I made before, I won't make now. I've set a new standard, which means I raise my floor. Working in manufacturing, especially if you're doing GMP, everything is important. Every tiny detail, every signature, every log, everything. When you make a mistake, you make what they call a comment, and you basically clarify what you meant to put or try to rectify a mistake that you made on that log that you created. When I first started, there was literally pages upon pages where I had 3 to 5 comments because I kept making mistakes on those pages. Just because I hadn't done it in a long time, so I was just trying to get my feet back into what I had initially done before. And now at this point, I may have mistakes here and there, but they're not as plentiful as they were before. So for myself, all that means is that I just set a new standard. You no longer expect to see 3 to 5 comments on a page where I made many mistakes. At max, you see 1 or 2, and that's it. And that's just because I got better and I raised my standards. I raised my baseline. And that's just a small example. That can go towards anything. That can even go towards school. Your first 2 assignments, you're still learning how to teach your grades. You're still learning how they like for you to write. You're still learning what makes them tick in regards to grading. So, you know, you're trying your best. And you may not get the best grades in the beginning. But once they give you feedback and you learn what they like, and those new papers start coming in as A's, high B's, you raise your floor. This is the new standard. And now it's up to you to maintain it. So when it comes to this, all I feel is that in the end, you want to raise your floor, because if you raise your floor, that means that the ceiling that you're trying to reach, it only increases and gets higher. Which only raises the stakes, but not only does it raise the stakes, it raises the opportunity and it raises the potential for benefits. So you got to make sure that you keep increasing your floor, keep increasing your baseline, because all that does is just increase your potential. Never stop trying, never stop improving, never stop raising your baseline. I'm Jeuse Kastoan, and this is Unseen Hours.